Hello everybody and welcome to another Jan's Views live stream, and it's on a Sunday, so yeah, we're back to talking about Jay Slater, bless his heart. Anyway, how are you all? I hope you're all well. I hope you're all looking after each other and, more importantly, yourselves. So I'm just I was thinking we were shadow banned for a minute, because normally when I come in you're already in here chatting away to each other, and you weren't, and I thought, oh great, we're shadow banned. But I want you to look at the comment that I have put up here it is, where I am giving an invitation to mainstream media journalists to join us, come and join us on panel, to explain their part in spreading misinformation about the Jay Slater case, and also to explain why they are not giving these vile trolls the opportunity to speak and defend themselves. It's their God-given right, guys. So yeah, so if any of you happen to wander in here and would like to come up and tell us, please tell us why you are accusing people who have not done what you're accusing them of doing, and in the same way you're not allowing them to defend themselves. So I'm giving you that opportunity. We can find other opportunities if you don't want to take this. I understand you all work for your rags, for the red tops. So yeah, I do understand that. And we've got somebody who probably has quite a lot to say about that too. And so I want to say a rapturous hello to our Dunks. Hey Dunks, how you doing?
Doing great, Jan. It has been a while, stranger. Long time no see. It's been a few weeks, but I just caught your intro there. Yeah, I guess we both have a tremendous amount to say on all kinds of topics. But yeah, this mainstream media thing. Just before you get rolling, Jan, I want to say that I think we might have had a bit of a breakthrough this week, and I'm referring to. We'll talk about it in detail later this evening and subsequently. But obviously, the Debbie Duncan interview with this morning, everyone's noticed the comments are open. And I just checked, there are still quite a few comments coming in. ITV have kept it up, and I am rubbing my hands with glee to see the accident group have absolute meltdowns that the masses, the people, are sharing their skepticism of the whole Jay Slater story. It is a wonder to behold. And when you get the likes of, Kaz Alice and Gobshite and the rest of them saying, take the comments down, get the comments off, close the comments, Jan, that is a big victory. So we're a long way from getting mainstream media to actually interview us. But hey, step by step, I love it. The comments are open and people are telling ITV they're not happy with the narrative. That's what I see anyway.
Oh, absolutely, 100% Dunks. I brought it up now. So this is an hour ago, because I wanted to cover this. I was going to do it later on in the stream, but I'm quite happy. Oh, you can't see me here. You can only see me teeth, can't you? Hang on one sec. Excuse me. So that's better. Right, so an hour ago, somebody has put, in my opinion, the reason it doesn't stop was because family and friends put misinformation out. And that is from somebody that I don't recognise. All they needed to do was say they had the answers, but instead they kept quiet. just saying, wait for the documentary. Yeah, do you remember that, Dunks, when, you know, every time we would ask them or somebody would ask them, they'd say, wait for the documentary. So this person has obviously been following. I'll read another one and then I'll let you jump in. So we've got someone here. Right, who says, so there's proof out there that Coroner Adderley admits he hasn't inspected any dead bodies since his student days. He is only a judge. Is it just a coincidence he was assigned to the Nicola Bulley case as well as Jay's case? Both written off as accidents despite not even being hands on with the autopsies. He needs investigating, in my opinion. So that's another person who, again, was just an hour ago. These are going on and on. Now, Dunks, this is the comment from that person called D. Morris. I won't read it all again because you've already read it. But yeah, it's just not looking good for Debbie here, and I'm surprised they haven't switched off the comment section yet. So it's, I think I share your optimism and your enthusiasm in us definitely taking the steps in the right direction. Over to you, Dunks.
Yeah, I think Debbie Duncan doesn't realize how fragile this all is for her. She might realize it. She might have a secret fear that this is all going to fall apart at some stage. But I have a feeling she doesn't quite realize it yet. The people that are pulling her strings and manipulating her know very well that this is very, very fragile. Now, you've got the accident group out there saying, why would mainstream media even want to listen to any of you vile trolls? Well, I think that's the point. If someone is labeled a vile troll, usually in mainstream media, there is some renegade outfit out there that would like to just see how vile these trolls are. If we were genuinely vile trolls, they would surely, to enforce the narrative, want to invite us and want to speak to us so we make absolute fools of ourselves and come across as, ignoramuses. That would bolster Debbie Duncan's narrative. But this is very, very fragile because I don't know what you think, Jan. I think some of these, Good Morning presenters know nothing about the case, and they also think that Debbie's vile troll, accusers are teenagers in their basements writing nonsense, having fun, spewing vile nonsense, when in reality, if they did actually sit down and speak with us in a studio, they'd suddenly find, oh, these are the vile trolls. I don't know what you think, so I'll throw it back to you as I always do. But I have a feeling that the Good Morning crew and all those guys, I don't think they have any idea who we are or what we're like. Or do you think they kind of do, but their bosses are in their ears saying, you got to go with the narrative here. Don't make Debbie feel uncomfortable. I'm not in the UK, so I really don't know what these people are like. They seem to me very scripted, very nice people. But if you or I or Wax were in a live breakfast, off the cuff conversation with them, I'm not sure they could handle it. What do you think?
I agree with you. I don't think they would, but you never know. You never know. I'm looking for something. You're making me go completely off all my organisation, Dunks. But
Sorry.
there's something. No, don't worry about it, hon. Now there's something here I wanted to just quickly show you,
Hmm.
which I think is synonymous with how the real situation is looking for Debbie Duncan. Now, where is it? Where did I put it? Where did I put it? Oh, goodness. I thought I'd got it set up and I haven't. So let's get rid of that and let's find, where's that bit that I put here? Oh, right, okay. Oh, all right. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go straight over to question three, because it does cover this dance,
Hmm.
and so let me share that with you all. Um, right. Okay. So on question three, I thought it was a bit strange how Debbie had not mentioned this worthy event. This worthy event where they are celebrating the 21st birthday of Jay Slater in her local vicinity. I can only imagine it's in the local vicinity. Um, Now, it's made me think. Yeah, I've had a lot to think about this, because I understood that it was actually Warren that was setting this up. So when I first wrote this question, I thought, well, maybe it's because there's no interaction between Debbie and Warren. They don't talk anymore. And so this is something that Debbie is doing, or sorry, Warren is doing that Debbie doesn't know about. Okay. I then checked over on the Facebook page, and lo and behold, it's Debbie that's organising this. So again, I have to ask, why did she not mention it this week on This Morning? And I have to say, I have to give my own opinion here because these are my opinions. Now, the people that are sponsoring this are Why Not Aspire, which I think is some sort of youth program or charity, and Ketamine Education Services. Okay, now they've both been chosen as the charities supported through this event. Both organisations are dedicated to making a real difference, and your support will help continue that important work. Whether you're playing, attending, or donating, or simply sharing this post, every bit of support means so much. I am absolutely delighted. I am delighted they are doing something to celebrate this young lad's birthday. He would have been 21, guys. So, anyway, keep my emotions down. Now, the point I'm trying to make is Debbie not bringing this up because it's being sponsored by Ketamine Education Services? Over to you, Dunks, while I find some more information on this, okay?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure how this all came about. Now, I'll tell you my understanding with the caveat that I could be wrong. My understanding was this event or this I think it's a football match is going to, yeah, charity football match. I think this first appeared on Warren's TikTok account, and that's why most people assumed it was Warren that had set all this up. And I still think that's probably the case. And that Debbie, of course, has to put it on her Facebook page and support it and mention it. Otherwise, it's not going to look right. That's my understanding. But I could be wrong. It could be that Debbie has finally realized that this kind of venture, especially the ketamine awareness thing, whatever it is the way to go, not shutting people up for, airing their views on the case. So it could be that Debbie did, promote this and Warren has jumped on board. I still prefer, or I still feel it's probably Warren that had this idea, because up until now we have not heard one single word from Debbie or the accident group in general, come to that, about the horrors and the harms of the narco scene and the drug taking in Tenerife, in Lancashire, etc. So we've not heard anything from Debbie on that subject. We've heard her and seen her cry over Jay's toxicology report, but then nothing else. More shrugging of the shoulders and no mention of what it was. And let's be honest, Jan, it really was, as far as I understand it, that whole narco scene, the narco friends, the narco group, narco, NRG festival that got Jay in this pickle. Yeah, ended up dead at the bottom of a ravine. So you would have thought that if Debbie at any point wanted to find out what exactly happened to Jay, what caused, even if we're an accident, what caused the accident, what is involved here, who in particular was supplying him with that cocktail of drugs that put him in that position, you'd have thought she would have started talking about this a long time ago. Here we are 2 years in, and all of a sudden Debbie's saying, yeah, the whole ketamine education thing, that's really important, isn't it? I'm I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical. I feel that Debbie's doing this because she's either been told or, someone has prodded her to say, you've got to do something like this. Just trying to shut up your critics ain't going to do it, Debbie. So that's my feeling. Debbie's jumped on board with it. But, I'm going to be super skeptical here and say, I wonder when Debbie will actually question who it was that supplied her poor son all of those drugs that led to his death. You see, to my mind, a normal parent would say, I want to know who is supplying him. Because it's all very well this ketamine awareness thing, but in this case, it's a very simple question. Who was the one that was supplying that? And I can't understand the mother that doesn't even, air that question. I mean, that we go back to that moment, Jan, where son interview, what would you ask Ayub or the mystery man if he were here now? And that hesitation. No question came into her head like, what the hell were you doing if you're the supplier, giving my kid that stuff saying it'll make you feel good. And if you're not the supplier, who was? Surely you would have an idea. None of this came into Debbie's mind at any stage, it seems. So, I hate to be harsh. I mean, I agree with you. This is a good thing. Don't get me wrong. What is happening is a good thing. But what's very bad is it's taken 2 years for this to happen. And I think the masses that have followed this case are like, yeah, is this now happening because you feel it should have happened before, or did it suddenly come into your head? It's still, correct me if I'm wrong, Jan. It still feels off somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, I know where you're leaning. And yeah, I agree with you. The thing is, when I looked at this, do you know what really saddened me, Dunks? Is the fact that she wrote this on the 12th of April, my daughter's birthday, and she got 2 comments, okay? And that to me, and only 11 sort of, interactions. And I thought, so this person who is going on TV slagging off content creators is basically not being heard by people in her own, even in her own area. People that would have been behind her, would have supported her. Do you get what I'm getting at? It's like,
Yeah.
how can you only have 2 comments? It's like, it's madness to me. I need to get up another one. Hang on. Right, and this one. Oh no. Oh, this is it. This is it. Right, okay. Well, questions all over the place. Sorry, guys. Right. Question 4 was, excuse me, who are the unwelcome guests? Now, if you read what the other admin has to say, this Vicky Pandora Pate or Pate, she says, hello, not long now. This is a ticket only event. If you still need them, please ask ASAP. Due to not wanting unwelcome guests, you must have your ticket to get in. If you're coming on the day to enter, you must let us know so we can sort it with the turnstile people. Sorry, no ticket, no entry. Hope you understand. 5 comments. 5 comments. What is that telling us? And then there's the one from Debbie. So they're both admins. And it just seems, it's like there's a real sort of disconnect between what is happening, what she is showing, presenting to the grand, the whole public of I'm a victim, they're all coming for me, they're all horrible trolls, blah de blah de blah, when in reality, she can't get more than two comments when she's talking about this football match for her son. To me, I can't help but get emotional about it because I would be devastated if that was my child and I had arranged to do something for them on their monumental birthday, which we all know 21 is a monumental birthday. And between these two people, there's 7 comments. It's like, yeah, no, Dunks, you're going to have to pull the reins in today because I'm quite emotional about this because I do feel for Jay. I really feel for this boy. And I think this proves to me, anyway, that they have no support, not even in their own area. So, how dare she go on mainstream media and try and point the finger of blame, point the finger of trolling at people like yourself, Duncan, and Wax Unfiltered, who had their faces shown to millions of people. How dare she? So I'm going to calm down a bit, Dunks. Do you want to join? Do you want to say something now, hun?
Yeah, no, I've kept a very keen eye on Jay's Law petition. We're down to the last 2 weeks now. It's in the mid 16,000s. It did have a bump. It did have a boost after her performance on this morning. So it went from 13,000 odd to 16,000 odd, so 3,000. But it's still a very, very low number. What I've been focusing on, because I'm fascinated by this, is the local support because if that 3,000 boost came nationally because of national TV, that's one thing. But if it's not coming locally, I keep saying this, it means the vast majority of people in her own area, in that Oswald Twistle, Accrington area, just aren't on board with this. And again, even now, when I looked last time, the percentage of constituents, the voters in that constituency that have signed this is between 1 and 2%. I think it's 1.8, 1.9%. So once again, imagine 100 voters in that Accrington, Oswald Twistle area all lined up. They must surely all know the Jay Slater case. They must surely all know there's a petition out there. They live just down the street from the woman. And less than two out of 100 have signed that petition. It's the number of people locally that are refusing to sign it that tells you everything you need to know. And just going off on a bit of a tangent here, that's why I was fascinated by that weasel guy that was sat next to her in the this morning show, because it should have been Sarah Smith. And where's Sarah gone? Her MP seems to have ditched her. So they dragged in that wet blanket crossed with a weasel guy that sat there wringing his hands saying we've got to compel platforms to shut people up. And, yeah, no wonder that this petition has sunk. So, but it's got 2 more weeks to go. You never know. You never know. Chris Pennington's professional hackers, or Thomas Wilson, ex-hacker, they might step in and somehow finagle it so that a government petition jumps from 16,000 to 102,000 in the next 2 weeks. I doubt it, but you never know, Jan. This is a very strange case. No, but going back to your point, so yeah, when you look at that and you get such a small number of comments on what is supposed to be a very big occasion, um, that must be soul destroying. And on that score, I do feel very sorry for Debbie Warren because if they are, especially on Jay's birthday, if they're trying to locally engage people in this, and no doubt they will have, people coming and supporting, but what you've just shown us there, that does say that in general, in that area, there's not floods of people saying we're behind you on this. I just get the feeling that there's a silent majority, the neighborhood there, that they've had enough of this. They just don't want to go down the route of backing Jay's Law and backing Debbie all the way. I think I think she's tapped out. That phrase, Jan, she's tapped out. She's got everything she can, all the support she's got. It's all behind her now. But I think it's all downhill from here on in. And maybe later we'll discuss what happens after the petition, because I'm not sure. You know what I mean? That's like a grand finale. What act is there coming up after this? Don't know.
Yeah, I honestly don't know, but I mean, I think if if I was Debbie, oh, I can't even imagine being her, but I mean, if it were me, and I saw so little interest from people on Facebook. I mean, people on Facebook, they support anything, and she's got like 2 comments. It's like, Jesus, I'd be devastated, I have to say. So we're going to start. We're all upside down because of Dunks. Did I say hello to you, Dunks? Sorry, I feel like I've jumped in and gone all over the place. I hope I said hello. It's lovely to see you, as usual. And I want to say a quick hello to everybody in the chat, to my mods, you are the best, and to some very familiar faces. It's lovely to see you all. Thank you so much for supporting not only myself, but also Duncan and Wax. We've got a proper community, and as I was saying in my video that I did last week, I believe in true transparency, and I promise you from the bottom of my heart that you will always receive transparency from myself, from Duncan, and from Wax. I'm sure I can speak to them. They'll probably tell me off tomorrow when I speak to them. They'll be like, "What you going to say that for?" But anyway, no. It's all about transparency. It's transparency here. So let's go on with the questions if we haven't already answered them. Why did ITV allow people to comment on the Debbie Duncan interview? I think, what was the last one that they did? Was that I think the last interview, all the comments were off, weren't they? So, what do you think the idea was, Dunks? Do you think they didn't realise, or what are your feelings on it?
No, I think they realized if it were a mistake, that would have been cut off, a long time ago. So this is why I'm very optimistic about it. I think someone high up said, "Let's just, see how this goes." And the optimistic part of me says that when they analyze who has said what, they might be tempted. I mean, fingers crossed, Jan, they might be tempted to either give us a few minutes where we say something, maybe not in the studio, or, maybe just a recording. I don't know. They might be tempted to give us a voice, or they might just make this a one-off and say, okay, we've now got an idea of what's going on here. Better not do that again, because it seems like there's a lot of people that don't like our narrative. So it could just be an experiment, but I want to be optimistic, Jan. I want to think that this is the first step to someone, and this is why I was saying it's very, very fragile for Debbie, because the whole of the accident group keeps saying no one in mainstream media wants to talk to you. No one's going to talk to you. They've already heard your vile nonsense. Fine. We've got nothing to lose here, because all we've had so far is 100% blackout. No one's going to give us one word, 1 second of airtime. We got that. But we only want one. And I don't know who I was talking to, but I maybe in a video I said there's an absolute gold mine out there for the first mainstream media company that says, let's give these guys a shot. Let's give one of them 5 minutes to, present their case and see what happens. And that's why this is very, very fragile for Debbie and the accident crew. Because, like I say, we only want that. We don't need equal time. We don't need debate, open debate. We don't need anything like that. We just need a minute or two to explain that we're not vile trolls. And I think that the whole house of cards might start to collapse for Debbie. So I'm optimistic about this. I think ITV have done it for a reason. I think they'll keep the comments open. And, fingers crossed, one of us might be contacted. You never know.
It's quite interesting that somebody said, I saw written, I think, in my comments that there's a lot more of us than there are of them now, and yeah, that is as regards the vile trolls, but I think also our voices are being heard. At last, I believe our voices are being heard. I've decided, I don't know why it took me so long, but I decided to utilize my Twitter account. I've actually got two, and yeah, and it's been quite interesting who's actually followed me back. Very, very interesting. So, yeah, I believe it's all on a positive, but I think dunks, we have to be careful. Remember, we can't share everything, but what we will say is things are happening in the background. But yeah, I think it's time. I make sure I upload all my videos to both my Twitter accounts, and yeah, it's we're on the way. I believe we're on the way. Did you want to say something, Dunks? Or
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
yeah. Yeah, I apologize because I might have said this a few weeks ago in our last live. I can't remember. But what is encouraging for me, another encouraging sign for me, is that we were told, and I believed, that Debbie didn't actually engage with social media at all. That, she just didn't pay attention to the noise out there. That was my impression, and yet somehow, she was upset by what was out there. So I assumed other people were saying, Debbie, don't listen to this guy, don't watch this guy, but this is what he's saying. But now I'm beginning to think, Jan, that she has seen, she herself has actually seen some of what we've said. Obviously, not all of it, otherwise she'd realize we weren't, the vile trolls that she keeps spewing out there. But the reason I'm encouraged is that she has had to react. She has had to do something. And I think it absolutely absurd that someone like myself that has very small channel, very small audience in comparison to, loads of other people out there, that she felt she had to get a national newspaper to get me removed and then wring her hands that I was still on, TikTok, all over one small channel, an old git in his closet. It's like, oh, so you are aware of what is being said out there. And one very interesting thing, Jan, happened in that this morning interview. She made a point, or the interviewers made a point of stressing that Debbie was not being paid anything to be there. That's the first time that subject has been mentioned. And the only reason it had to be mentioned was because people like you and me have been saying, if there's any grifters out there, it's the woman that made the most money out of her son's death, and that would be Debbie. Now, I think that really hit home. And I was fascinated that in that interview, she did not deny, no one denied that she has received money from other sources. It was interesting that they made it quite clear she was making no money from that particular interview. And my mind immediately went to, so does that mean that she's been making money off all the other media appearances, of the documentary, of the newspaper interviews, because it was the golden moment for either the interviewer or Debbie Duncan to say, and neither have I made anything from any other appearance. The fact she didn't say that, in fact, the whole focus was on that one interview, told me, all right, from now on, she's going to say, I'm not taking anything. I'm not making any money off of this. But to me, that means she has done up until then. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I agree with you 100%. There's something I wanted to address regarding your removal, and I think it's not necessarily about what you've said. I think it's because you took up the invite to go and meet these trolls. That's what I think it is. You said, all right then, you keep inviting me to come and speak to you face to face, and you've had more than one invitation to front these people, right? And I think it's because you went through a couple of days where you said, all right, I'll come and see you, and they've twisted it. You know, like Peter Pennington, we should find that clip where Peter Pennington invites you to go to somewhere. Where is it they invited you to? Brazil or somewhere? I've forgotten. When they invited you to go somewhere, what you should have done, what you could have done is what they did to you, is to twist it and make it look like you are threatening them. When in reality, you were just accepting their invitation to go and meet up with them. I think that's why they got your channel taken down. They wrote a long-winded crap letter saying that you were threatening to go and see them, and you were doing it online. YouTube don't stand for that. That's what I think it was. And also, before it goes out of my head, the lies that these people have told about not only you but also me, but let's focus on you at the moment. The lies they have told, they've put that all in the letter or whatever in the complaint. Okay, that you're some sort of PDF, you're some sort of pervert, you've sent people to go to this kid's house, you've done this, you've done that. We know it's all bollocks. We know it's all bollocks. But YouTube don't know it's all bollocks. And that's why I think you lost your channel. But I feel that in time you will get it back. Because you will prove to them, and we will prove to them, that that was all lies. And one of the ways we can prove it to them is from this. Okay? This is something that Luggy has put on his face on his YouTube channel. Okay. Now, he has accused me, okay, of being a fraudster. Okay? He's found someone on Instagram with a very similar name to mine. It's not my name, okay? It's a very similar name to mine. So he's found this person who is also a contemporary artist working in mixed media. I do that. I work with mixed media and I'm a contemporary artist. Okay, so he's found this, right? He's on the Instagram. And this woman has put her artwork on there, and I must say, I like it. It is mixed media. I like it very much. Now, apparently, there is, okay? She has then posted this. I don't know whether she posted it on Facebook. It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. But this is the full post, okay? It's got a date. It's from Southeast Open Studios. Okay, so she's obviously a member of the studios. Okay, so, and that would be easy to find out. All you'd have to do is Google this place, look for this woman's name, and I'm sure there'd be a picture of her. When I used to hang in studios, they would have my artwork on their studio page. That's how it works in the art world. Okay, now. She's also put up her email, which isn't my email. It's not my name. Duncan, excuse me. You know my email. It's not that. Okay? Right. So she has put, you're invited to an open house to see paintings as part of the Southeast Open Studios. Now, if you look here, he blanked that out. Now, I don't know why he blanked that out. Maybe he didn't want people to know that if you Googled Jan Steedman in Southeast Open Studios, my face isn't going to come up. Okay? That's why he's blanked that out or blocked that out. So we are also welcoming visitors to see our little but much loved gardens. Okay, now this is the bit where he is going to be sued, if not only by me, also by this person if she wants to take action against it, because what he's done is actually call her a fraud. I'm going to have to cough, Dunks. Can you speak over me for a minute?
Yep. Yeah, I think this is another case of very, very fragile ground. This is thin ice because, as you say, it looks like I haven't really gone through all this. So I'm looking at it for the first time, some of it, but it looks to me that what Luggy is doing is trying to make someone else appear to be you. Even if he's not doing that, he is, it looks like, using this person's publications, posts, and is calling out fraud. Now, if we move you out of the equation just for a second, if this person is totally innocent, then Luggy could be in big, big trouble, I would say, because his whole game, if I'm reading this correctly, is to pick someone with a similar name to yours, pretend it's you, get everyone hysterically anti you, but he might have forgotten that the original Jan Stedman person here may well have committed no fraud at all. I mean, from what I can see, it has a great big word fraud there. Yeah, he may be in trouble from her more than you. But even so, um, it really is what he's doing is very deceptive. I think everyone would agree on that. To what degree it's illegal, I don't know. Lawyers will discuss all this. But to me, it really does look like he's trying to create the pretense that this person has committed fraud, and the idea is we should all think that it's you, not her. So, yeah, don't let this one go, Jan, because people do make big mistakes in this area. They do think, oh, as long as I don't make it clear it's this particular person, I'll be okay. But you've got to ask yourself, when you look at that, you see the word fraud stamped over and let's assume there is no fraud involved. Um, I would think Lord Lugworm could be in trouble here. I would think so.
Honestly, Dunks, I was absolutely disgusted, and I knew right from the start it wasn't me. But when you consider, because I've been an artist for many years, and I have, been part of studios. I've had my artwork hanging in studios and everything. And to put this up without a thread of evidence, calling this woman a fraud because he's saying that, like here, she said, "Oh, bring all that spare cash, because there will be buckets to collect money in aid of mercen." I can't say it. It's a French thing. Médecins Sans Frontières, Doctors Without Borders. I've attached a Just Giving link in this email. Should you choose to donate using that method. And she's also put, yeah, so she's put the link there. I'm absolutely so upset for her, Dunks. I just think
Hmm.
it's disgusting. And although I want to get in touch with her and tell her, there's a part of me that doesn't want to do that because I don't want to upset her. Do you know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
also, this is her location. I mean, it's actually got the address up there. I took that off the Facebook site. It wasn't hard to find. It's not hard to find, and people like Luggy need to be very careful when they're digging around in other people's information, because they get it wrong. Like they've got it wrong this time. And yes, I will be mentioning this to the police. But as I say, I feel sorry for her because I don't want her name dragged through the mud. I mean, what would you do in this situation, Duncan?
Oh, I would absolutely alert this person to what has been posted here. And the reason I would do that is because if you don't do that, and you're obviously aware that this isn't you, that's her, and there is a consequence later on, she may well come to you and say, were you aware of this? At that point, you have to say, yes, I was, but I didn't do anything about it. So I would think, Jan, the worst case scenario is you alert her to what has been put out there with this. All I can see is the great big word fraud there. And, it doesn't say possible fraud or is this fraud. It just seems to say fraud. Um, I would alert her to what has been put out there. And if it's no big deal to her, no big deal. But I think it might be a mistake. I'm just going by my gut instinct here, Jan. I think it might be a mistake to do nothing. I really do.
Okay, and I'm looking at what you're saying here. Yeah, that's the bit. That's the bit. Because it is a profession. I said, I'm a professional woman, and um, I am. I'm a professional artist. I sell my artwork, as indeed this woman does, and I'm just horrified that he would do this. And if it were me, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if it were me, would I be like holding my hands? I was like, oh my God, someone's caught me out. No, because I would never do such a thing. So for him to, yeah, I think you're right. I think I'm going to I'll send her an email and just to tell her. Yeah, it is libel. That's what I think. I think it's definitely libel. If she wants to take it forward, then I've got Luggy's information and Mark Dearden's information, so I can just pass everything over to her. I can send her the police crime number, reference number I've got. And yeah, it's just that I feel bad bringing someone else into this pile of shite, really. But okay, so let's move over to the next question, which was why do AG and Debbie Duncan never mention the subject of narcs? Um, I'll leave that up to you, Dunks, I think.
Sorry, just to go back, Jan, I will deal with this Debbie Duncan issue in just a second. I would say when you communicate with this other artist, um, you can feel free to mention my name, give my email address, and let that person know that the creator of that post, Ivor Lovelace, has already got a crime report against his name. There is a crime report number with Difford Powers Police. There are several people that have reported him. So that might, flesh out the whole idea in her head that this is not someone that is, your average troll. He has a track history. If you want to go back really into history, Ivor Lovelace was arrested and in court when he was, in Northampton. So that might not come up. But I'm just saying you would be truthful and accurate to say that the person that has posted this has, crime number, crime report, Difford Powers Police. If she wants to go down that route, there are plenty of other people that have experienced his fabrications and his lies, and we would be on board with her. I would just say that. Um, Sorry, now going back to what you just put up, can you put that back up, Jan? Because I'm looking at there we go. Why do the AG or Debbie Duncan never mention the subject of, no, yeah, now this one fascinates me. It's a very, very deep subject, and I want to get into this at some point this coming week. Um, there are two possible reasons that come to mind. Number one is that it's no big deal to them. And if it's no big deal to them, why is that? I mean, they might just be extreme libertarians that think, all of this stuff is one's own decision. If you're an adult, you should take this stuff, you can take this stuff, whatever. It might be that. But I tend to think it's no big deal to them, either because they somehow have been or are involved, or they're connected to some aspect of it. And I just want to mention Chris Pennington in this light, because I do remember him saying when he was talking about Ayub, Chris Pennington was like, "I don't understand the problem. That the guy has served his sentence. He's served his punishment. So what's the big deal that a guy that was sentenced to 9 years for flooding wells with drugs, took Jay back to his place for an hour?" And when I heard that, I was like, no, that isn't a normal reaction. That sounds to me like someone that might also have been involved in that, narco underworld saying that. And again, Chris Pennington as an example. If you mention the Tenerife narco scene, he's a shoulder shrugger. He just says, "Yeah." I think his exact quote was something like, "It rains in Manchester. There are drugs on the strip in Tenerife." It's always no big deal. And you'd have thought there'd be one of them, just one of them, that would say, "I believe Jay died by accident. I don't particularly like the foul play group, but this whole narco background is very disturbing and Debbie should be saying something about it." But it is strange, Jan, that I can't find one of the accident group that have ever expressed any outrage at the drugs that were supplied to Jay, completely illegal in Spain, completely illegal. Okay, they have their cannabis cafes, but the moment Josh Forshaw broke that ecstasy pill in two, gave one half to Brad and one half to Jay, Josh Forshaw's broken the law. And, you might say, well, that's what teenagers do. This is the Debbie Duncan impression. It's what teenagers do. It's all normal these days. It's not. And it does shock me that not one of them can ever come out and say this is a bad thing. So, of course, I'm going to throw it back to you. But, my logic says either they have been involved or they've got a reason not to attack the drug dealers, um, or none of it is a big deal to them. But you would have thought the guy ends up dead at the bottom of a ravine. Look at the toxicology report. You would have thought that the accident group would connect these two and say this is not a good thing, but they never seem to. So I don't know. I don't know. I will say, Jan, just a second. I will say that in the interview, Debbie was saying that, people are out there saying that she's a drug dealer or the family. I don't think that, and I don't see it. I honestly don't. But there's got to be a reason why Debbie isn't focused on that. And it could be that she was just so tolerant of whatever Jay did is fine that now it's too late for her to say, we might have made some mistakes here, and how he ended up with all those drugs in his system, I don't know. But you're the mother and the grandmother, Jan. Tell me what you think. Why is this mother not talking about that?
Personally, I think, it's like there's all different there's all different types in society, and I don't know what it's like to live in a small town up north. I don't know. I've always lived in and around London or just outside, and I've been very lucky in that my kids have never, ever been involved in drugs. Not to that degree. Have they, if they were with a friend who was, smoke puffing on a spliff or something, they might have tried it. I kind of expect that, but it's like with booze, maybe they've tried booze when they shouldn't have done. But there's a difference in parents accepting that, as I do, okay, because I'm not stupid, to people who feel that every teenager is like that. And, I've heard like the AG saying, oh, Jan doesn't know what she's talking about. She lives in airy fairy world. No, I don't. I live in a world where, my kids were brought up with the foundations to lead them in the right way. My kids weren't the kids that hung about on street corners. And my grandchildren don't do that either. We were very, you have to get, it's like Dunks. There was someone in the comment section under the video, and she wasn't having a go, but she was saying, oh, the problem is, these teenagers, they do get bored, and they got nothing else to do. And I thought, are you having a laugh? It's up to the parents, it's up to the family to make sure that the children have something to do. I got my girls were into dancing, okay? They did dance, they went to stage school for a few years, and yeah, they were all into dance. That's what their spare time when they weren't studying at school, that's what they were doing, okay? They weren't hanging about in the local parks doing things they shouldn't be doing. They were going to dance classes. My boys, yeah, they used to go off and play football with their friends. But again, it's like you vet the friends. It's quite simple. You vet the friends, okay? My sons, they used to go, one of them used to play tennis. All right, we lived in quite an affluent area. That's not my fault. It's got nothing to do. There were still people that my son knew about who got into all sorts of trouble. One of his friends got into trouble with drugs. So it's not as if we don't know that it's going on, but it doesn't mean that because it's going on that you have to give up and say, oh, well, they're teenagers. Can't do anything about it. You know, they've shut all the youth clubs, they've done this and that. No, I'm sorry. I think parents have to take responsibility. That's what I think. And I took great responsibility in what my kids were doing. My kids weren't going out bashing people over the head, stealing, robbing, doing drugs. No, none of my kids did. And none of my grandchildren do. So, yeah, I do get annoyed about it. And I get annoyed at the people in society that think, oh, well, they've reached teenage years, so what do you expect? Listen, I didn't lead my kids around on a lead. They did their own things. One of them they went on girly holidays. My son went on boy holidays, but they all behaved themselves. It's about the structure. It's about the family structure. I'm sorry, but yeah. Sorry, Ducks. You know I feel very strongly about that. It just really annoys me how people are so, it's like they're compliant with the bad behaviour of their children. That's what it stems from. You know, they're at school. You know, I worked in schools for bloody 8 years. I saw so many of these poor kids whose mothers couldn't give a monkeys about what they got up to. Not a bloody monkeys. And I think it's disgusting. So anyway, get me out of this. Get me out of this passionate rant, Dunks. Let's move on to the next question, shall we? Okay, question. We did that one, didn't we? Right, and that one. 4. Where's question 4? Okay, 5. Okay, why does mainstream media not allow accused content creators to defend themselves? Do you know, it's people have a fundamental right to defend themselves against false allegations and accusations. That includes YouTubers, all right? This right is a cornerstone of legal systems in a democratic society, built upon the presumption of innocence until proven guilty. So, why is that? Why are they not allowed to speak up? Why are these people that have been labelled as vile trolls, such as Duncan, such as Wax, on a huge scale, nobody is giving them the opportunity to defend themselves? How is that right? Thanks. Over to you, hun.
This is an area where I think Debbie and her team in the accident group have actually played a pretty good game, but I think their time is running out. Where they've played a pretty good game is they've lumped everyone that has been critical of Debbie and the accident narrative. They've labeled everyone just as trolls, and then they stick the word vile in front of it. We're all vile trolls. And they haven't ever felt the need to identify exactly what the vile trolls say or what the vile trolls do. It's always this nebulous, we are getting abuse. The vile trolls are attacking us. It's all very, very vague, and they've managed to get away with it because, of course, the interviewers and mainstream media have no great desire to dig into what is a troll. And that's something I'm going to be doing this coming week. This word troll has been overused, so I'm going to be digging into what do they mean. They basically mean a critic, but they've used that word troll. Now they've come up with tragedy troll. They've come up with all these names that sound really bad, but the really good thing they've done is they haven't had to put that label on anyone specific or even any type of person or any group of people. So keeping it vague and just saying, trolls are abusing Debbie, yeah, that's where you get all those commenters that say that's terrible. Give the woman a break. The trolls are awful. Where I think it has started to fall apart, and this is where I'm quite happy to be the sacrificial lamb, is that this past week or so, it has become abundantly clear because I think you and Wax and myself, Jan, we were all kind of saying, well, especially Wax. Wax was saying, I don't think they mean us. I think they mean someone that has written directly to Debbie saying, awful things. Wax was very much, I don't think they mean us. And I was like, well, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But the great revelation of the last 2 weeks is it's us, or at least it's me, because, like I say, there's no doubt about it. She got the mirror to remove me from YouTube. There's no one else it could be, by the way. If anyone's out there saying you don't know it's you, I know I wasn't named, but that's again where they've played this very well. They haven't named anyone. They haven't quoted anything I've said. All they said was. I was called a gloating troll. So the gloating troll has had his YouTube channel removed, but the gloating troll went immediately to TikTok and started, spouting the same stuff. Well, that has to be me because, the day they said that was the day that my channel was removed. Oh, by the way, that is still being reviewed. We're into week 3, and the YouTube robot is obviously very confused what's going on here because it won't confirm whether I can get my channel back, and it won't confirm that it's gone forever. So I feel sorry for the YouTube robot. It's been told by some big cheese above just to get rid of the channel, but I think it's confused why. So I haven't given up on my YouTube channel, going forever. But the point is that was definitely me. There's no doubt about it. Even though I wasn't, that was definitely me. So it turns out, Jan, that the vile trolls are definitely, the people that are very, very critical of the way Debbie's handled this. You and I know that we haven't written, threatened, done anything directly to Debbie or the family and never would. But that's it. That's confirmation that Debbie's definition of gloating troll, vile troll, is someone that has the temerity to question why she hasn't tried to find out what happened to her son. That's it. It is us. We are the vile trolls. But now that that is out there, and we can see that Debbie's having to explain herself, which is also a bit odd. As I said, Debbie's in the studio now saying, I'm not getting paid for this, I'm not getting paid for that. So these horrible, abusive, vile trolls that she so detests are actually now, you know, sorting out her agenda. We're now pointing her in the right direction of what she should have been saying from day one, which is an odd thing. The vile trolls come to the rescue. We're now shaping what she has to say. So again, I'm kind of optimistic about this, but yeah, why does mainstream media not allow the accused content creators to defend themselves? Because we've been labeled the worst of the worst. But I think it's changing. This is why I'm quite buoyed up. In the next few weeks, I've been writing my personal letters. This, you never know, Jan. This one's going to Google in Dublin. I've handwritten a note to Google in Dublin about my YouTube channel. You know what I mean? Someone's going to open it, someone's going to read it, and someone's going to think, wow, this guy took the time to write pen and paper and send us a real letter. Maybe we'll look into it. So, hey, maybe nothing will happen, but as long as we keep fighting our corner, um, I do think that mainstream media, or we just want one of them to give us 5 minutes. It's going to happen, Jan. It's going to happen. Okay?
Yes, it's definitely going to happen. We're on the snowball now as it's thundering down, gathering speed, momentum, and more clout behind us. And I'm hoping Debbie does a TV performance once a week now, because people just aren't buying it, and it's a joy to see. It really is, because at the end of the day, every single one of us just wants justice for that boy. And had she have been totally honest from the very beginning, none of the we wouldn't even have looked at the case twice, would we? We would, there wouldn't have been anything to sort of dissect. But yeah, it's definitely going in our way. We've got a lot to cover. We've got a lot to work on. Me dunks and wax. We've got a lot to do, but we don't. I know you guys. You're so lovely when I expose some of the things that we go through. But I really don't want you to feel sorry for us. That's not why I show you. It's that we need to put out there who the real trolls are as well. I'm not doing a troll comment of the week because there's just so many of them. But we'll just sit this here and show you the type of people that we are having to deal with on a daily basis. And it's all going over Twitter and everything because enough is enough. And for somebody to take their time, to take the time to find out this information and to slap fraud on it, it shows you what they're capable of doing. Okay, guys, so it's like I said in my last video, just be careful what you put out there because I know they target you as well, and I'm so sorry for each and every one of you that has had to put up with their crap. I'm so sorry. There's nothing we can do about it. But as long as we stay together and as long as we've got the channels in which we can feed the public, we're going to be fine. Aren't we, Dunks? So, Dunks, I think I'm going to end it there, darling. And I'll speak to you very, very soon. You take care of yourself, honey. And do you want to say bye-bye to everybody?
Indeed, yeah. Again, apologies for the long break. Last weekend was not Jan's fault. I was with Mrs. Smith in Monaco. The week before was Easter week or your daughter's birthday. I don't know. We have had good excuses, Jan, but I will say that it seems a long time. So apologies in a sense to all those that kept expecting us to appear. As far as I know, Jan, I'm clear for the next few weeks, so if things go well, we should be back into our usual routine. Yeah, big thanks for everyone hanging out there and supporting us. It's been an interesting week or two. Who knows what will happen in the next 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. But yeah, I think things, I'm feeling very good, Jen. I think things are turning in our favor. I think this whole, you know, thin ice, fragile situation, I would be worried if I were the hardcore accident group because I think we only want one breakthrough and this whole house of cards is going to come tumbling down. Okay, I've rabbited on enough. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye. Good night. See you soon. Thanks for doing this, Jan. Thanks for setting it up last minute. I will see you soon.
Okay, and a huge thank you to Dunks, absolute star. And also, guys, I want to say a great big thank you to all of you. You're absolutely fabulous. I love that you come in, you interact with us, you give us little bits of information, you give us support. That's the main thing. And we will get our Dunks back on YouTube at some point. Trust us. Trust in us, Dunks. Anyway, so thank you very much to my mods, your stars. Have a fantastic week ahead. We've got the sun, we've got blue skies, guys. But the main thing I think we have to remember is we're so much better together, guys. So until the next one, bye bye for now.